Okay, let's just say that it's fact told from a specific perspective.
There you go. It's not
Okay.
all just truth.
It's real easy to take facts and then spin them in the direction you want to go. But the biggest problem is that we now have government blacking out one of the First Amendment rights by refusing to allow freedom of the press. And that's got to... I don't understand why anybody, Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, whoever, would not be just pissed off about that. Because it is eroding our constitutional rights. Freedom of the press is in the First Amendment. Freedom of speech is in the First Amendment. So why is it okay for the president to do that and not have anybody except liberals complain about it? Especially from the people that tout that we support the Constitution.
We support the First Amendment. And
well, I think they only care about the Second Amendment.
Well, yeah, I think so, too. They don't care if you can actually speak. They just care if you can shoot.
So that's one of those big things today. Okay, so here we have ye old White House that's blocking news. Okay, so what's next? Okay, let's see here. This is from the Washington Post, and I know some of you conservatives out there may be saying that the Washington Post can't be trusted because it's liberal.
It's not.
And the funny thing is that it's where. How do you decide that a fact is... Well, why would you decide that a fact is not true based on its political leaning?
Well, because it doesn't go along with what you believe.
Yeah, and then when it is something that you believe, then they're an accurate news source. But when it's against what you believe, it's not. So we need to fix that in the United States. So anyway, so it was an off-camera press briefing held by Sean Spicer, and basically they blocked out CNN, the New York Times, Politico, Los Angeles Times, and a few other outlets. The Wall Street Journal did happen to be in the room and did participate in the briefing, and they said that it was unaware that the other organizations had been excluded, and had we known, we would have not participated. So we have other news sources that are saying it's not right to block one of us if all of us are not, to be inclusive of all of us, or none of us are going to show up. CNN's Sarah Murray went on the air to describe what happened. She said, "We lined up. We were told there was a list ahead of time, which is sort of abnormal, but we put our names on a list. And then when we went to enter, they were blocked by the White House staff that said that they were not on the list for the gaggle." What does it say to the American people when the White House and the president and the White House, the administration or whatnot, is refusing to allow the press to report? That means that it's basically retaliation. Okay, they said some things that the president or his staff have decided were inappropriate or not right to call our president. Blah blah blah. It basically turns out to the point that people just don't want to know the facts. Okay, they don't want to tell the facts. Okay, if during the Obama administration, if he would have done that, the Republicans would have been up in arms. They would have stormed the White House. And here we have President Trump doing the same thing, or his staff doing this, and nobody is objecting to it. The Republicans themselves, who are supposed to support the Constitution, are not saying anything about it.
These violations of the Constitution are stripping your rights down too, Trump supporters. So please realize that and unite with us and realize that we are not making America great again. We are actually making it more divisive and just a horrible place to live.
Well, I think we kind of need to define that. Okay, make America great again. Donald Trump is not going to make America great again because Donald Trump is not America. America is a 325 million people that live in this country, that go to work every day, that take care of their families every day, that are a part of society every day. Those are the ones that need to step up and make America great again. Not Donald Trump.
Don't
Donald
wait
Trump
for
is
somebody
one
else
person.
to step up and do it, please.
Yeah, step up and actually be a part of this country.
Your apathy is killing us. Yeah. Knock it off.
Literally. It literally is. So, here we go. United States, the land of the free, is now tossing freedom out the door.
Not so free, and we're not so united.
Yeah, pretty much. Now, this filters down to the state level. Okay? Because here we go. The erosion of the rights of the people. Okay? First, we have the White House, who's denying the First Amendment freedom of the press. And then now we have here in Arizona that good old thing called the right to peacefully assemble.
Wait, isn't that something we are actually
It's
allowed
part of
to
the
do? Part of the
well, according to the First Amendment, and I wonder if I can actually find that post. Let me see if I can find that post while I'm looking, because I know I've got it somewhere, here and there and everywhere.
Of course you do. But I mean, seriously, it's become to a point where it's like, you know what? If you don't speak or agree with what I speak and agree with, I'm going to try to shut you down. I'm going to try to make it to where you don't have a voice. I'm going to boycott you. I'm going to do whatever. And it's really ridiculous. I mean, it's just the epitome of why we're not going to be a first world country for long if we keep this up.
Okay, so the First Amendment of the Constitution says, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people to peacefully to assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievances. That's from the actual Constitution. Now, here in Arizona, we don't care about the Constitution. Hell with that. Let's pass a law to curb the ability for protesters to, exercise their constitutional rights.
Hey, I hate Nutella, so I want to pass a law saying that nobody can ever enjoy Nutella if they like it, because I don't like it.
Nutella,
It's
bad
disgusting.
idea. Okay, we're not going to.
But
Don't
I mean,
bring that
seriously,
onto the show.
No, but
Let's not bring Nutella
Apple
onto
butter?
the show. No. Let's just keep away from Nutella. Okay.
it's the point of just because I don't like it, I'm not going to ban it for everybody else.
No Nutella. Okay, we're not
I know
gonna
it's disgusting.
No, we're not going to talk about Nutella. Yeah, there we go. So, Arizona is doing its job by trying to do everything it can to restrict and inhibit the rights of the people in Arizona. And we will come back in a few minutes and discuss that. But we're going to go to our PSAs. We're going to try to spread them out a little bit so we don't try to throw them all in at one time, like on the half hour or the hour or whatnot. So we're going to take a few minutes, 2 minute, 3 minute, 3 minute and 24-second break.
We're going to take the time it is required for us to go pee, make a drink.
There you go.
And play the PSA.
Yeah. So listen up. We'll be back, and we're going to talk about all the fun things that are happening in Arizona.
Are you worried about what your money is paying for when you pay your insurance bill? How many times have you seen a company or agent helping a cause you disagree with? It happens again and again and again. Progressives who want to make sure that they are helping the issues they care about have an agent on their side. Matthew Serra is here to help you save money on your insurance and give you the comfort of mind knowing that you are supporting causes that you hold dear. To see if he can save you money, contact him at 602-753-8574. Make sure you are saving money today.
My name is Scott Pryor, chair of Arizona's LD16 Democrats. One of the things I have noticed since I became active in politics in 2012 is that people in general have increased their value of political affiliation over the value of humanity and community. Interpersonal communication has become more defined by our online communications and less defined by our face-to-face interactions. This has drastically reduced our ability to empathize with one another and find common ground to create real conversation and real solutions. If you frequent Facebook or Twitter
or some of the other social media websites, you will see that many people are referring to each other as liberals or conservatives or libtards or Republicans. And many times, what starts as a real logical conversation becomes useless as people move from logical discourse to online shouting matches and name-calling. This type of behavior really must change. As chair of the LD16 Democrats, our local party will begin moving in a new direction. Instead of focusing on political change, we will begin focusing on changing ourselves and our communities. We will attempt to work together with others to help create better communication through cooperation, such as food and clothing drives, friendly competitions such as bowling, riflery, softball games, and yes, even karaoke. Our goal is to try to take the political affiliation out of the primary focus of all of our communications and start treating people as individuals, neighbors, and friends. As a gesture of this new focus, I will begin working to provide free educational seminars to the public, which will give people the proper tools necessary to not only participate in the state governmental process, but also interact with the different committees and legislators that are at the Capitol to represent us. I look forward to the future and hope that we can all begin to work together to create better solutions for all the people in our community.
And we are back, folks. So, we're going to talk a little bit about Arizona and what wonderful things our state legislature is doing. When we finished up the first half hour, we were talking about the suspension of the First Amendment freedom of the press rights by the president and or the White House to allow the press to actually participate in the conferences and basically blocking any press organization that reports facts that the president doesn't like. So here in Arizona, we're all for that. We are all for limiting the rights of the people. So the first thing that we got to talk about is SB 1142. Now, for those of you that don't know, SB 1142 expands the state's racketeering laws, now aimed at organized crime, to also include rioting. It redefines what constitutes rioting to include actions that result in damage to the property of others. Okay? And what this do is that this specifically, the Arizona Senate voted specifically on this bill to seize assets of those who plan and participate in any protests that turn violent. Now, I don't know how many people can see the problem with this. Let me throw an example or a scenario out there. Okay, the Arizona Democratic Party or Secular Coalition. What is it? Secular Day at the Capitol in March.
Yes.
Okay, for those of you who don't know, Secular Coalition for Arizona is having the Secular Day at the Capitol at March 21st. It's a good organization, by the way.
It is.
Now, so they organize this, they get it all set up, and say some numbnuts, some person shows up to this event and throws a bottle through the window at the Senate. Okay, now it is officially, according to this bill, gone from being a peaceful protest to a riot. Even though it's just one guy that threw a bottle through a window, everybody is now viable to be arrested and their property confiscated by the government. Okay? The whole thing started when these Republicans started claiming that people that show up at these protests, these town halls, which is another conversation we're going to have tonight, are paid protesters.
Wait, yet I still drive 80 miles a day to go to a job?
If I was a paid protester, man, I'd be at the Capitol every day. But I'm sorry, I don't get paid for that because that doesn't pay my bills. I have to actually go to work.
That's called being a lobbyist, and
It's not even a lobbyist. It's just a paid protester.
But you know what? Before you go any further, I'd like to actually ask for a show of hands as to people that actually know what racketeering is.
Okay, this is radio. You can't see any hands.